And the characteristic of this wood is that it's highly figured because it's growing in a certain way that the wood is compressed in a different part and create this wavy effect.
Okay.
And recently we introduced what we call Ural, that is a black hornbeam.
Okay.
It's a hornbeam that it's a traditional European wood. Through a chemical effect, is transformed into black color deeply inside, but preserve the technical characteristic.
PG, we saw really nice pieces and blocks of wood, but how do we turn this into something that looks more like a pool cue, my flames cue?
The first step is to turn it round because all the working process is based on a round piece. So we are using this machine that is CNC based, was developed by us, that with a special tool can transform a square part into round. Improve a lot the technique and the balance of the cube. It's very simple because you have this piece of wood that is solid. You drill with this special machine that is a quite old machine but very functional.
Okay.
And once is drilled, and you can see from one side to the other, inlays very intricate that, however, are curvy. You see, normally the shape was a two straight line,
right.
This one is curvy. So the process is, after we make the cave, we insert the curvy inlay, paying attention that it's not gonna break it, and then we add the other part of different type of wood inside.
So PG, it's actually the first inlay and then a second inlay inside of the first one?
It's quite complex as a matter because first of all there are two series of inlay. The first series is the long one, and then there is a second series of shorter inlay, as you may see. In the longer series of inlay, you have an inlay of wood outside, curly maple. Then you have a second inlay here, and then another piece of wood, and then again a fourth inlay black. So the long inlay, it's a series of 4 parts that are wasted because they are not matching perfectly the way we want. So with this model, there is a certain part that is going to be wasted because the result has to be very precise, because the longer inlay has to combine with the shorter one.
Okay. Can we see one of the machines?
Forearm to the end grip to start creating the real butt.
Okay.
And we are going to make it with this process. We saw before the forearm that was in solid wood full, then it has been reduced and threaded in the inside part.
The thread is already in there.
Yes.
Because of this machine we just saw.
Yes, because this lathe was creating the thread inside, making this part flat and this reduced. This is essential because in this piece ring in different material, so brass, bocote, black phenolic part, and they're using a special glue that ties everything up. And then they have to put the forearm in the lathe.
PG, it's really starting to become something like a cue now. It's really impressive to see the whole process. What is this machine and what is the next step we need to do to get it like the original final version?
We are still far behind the final version, but we have the entire butt now. One thing is missing, the pin, the joint pin. This is essential for a perfect connection with the shaft.
Okay.
We developed a year ago the VP2 joint, and this machine has been installed specifically to set up the VP2 pin into this butt. Longoni has a long history in laminated shaft. We started in the 60s. My father introduced the first laminated shaft in Europe, and at that time the name was Stratos. That's why the line today is called Stratos. The first one we made, it was the S2, and then today the line has been expanded a lot because now we have the S20 and the S30. Basically, laminated shaft is a shaft that is made out of many pieces. The S2 is 10 pieces, the S20 or the S30 is made of 20 pieces. The S30 of 2 different pieces of wood. The glue that we create every time with our secret formula takes a really long time to dry. So all the shaft must stay there in the mold for at least 24 hours, and this is limiting our daily production capacity.
Okay.
But definitely,
we see the S2, the S20, the S30 shaft. All these shafts are available for the Flames Cue, but we together have also developed the Lunanera shaft now.
Yes.
Can you say something about that one?
Lunanera is a total different type of shaft, and we will see later on. It's a graphite shaft. We were able to produce it even if we are a company specialized in woodworking, because in Italy there was a large use of composite.
This version of the shaft, I guess we go from here to here to here. Can you show the viewers a little bit more in depth how the graphite shaft is actually made?
Actually, the graphite shaft is once the cue is assembled, the butt and shaft, the important thing is to prepare the right surface for vernishing. So each part is sanded down with special machine, and also when the cue is being varnished, after a certain number of layers of varnish, it's important to sand it down to have a perfect round surface without any defect from the beginning to the end. So no Longoni, no Feijen.
What do we do?
We have the solution. With this very antique and traditional technique, we are going to put your name and my name on this beautiful masterpiece.
All right, I want to see this. PG, I heard a rumor that the butt of the cue here gets varnished at least 54
layers. You have sand down to have the certainty that the cue is as round as possible, because it's the only way to have a cue round, because varnish is not going to distribute always. Provide on request the Irish linen, that is the one that you are actually using.
Correct.
Black Irish linen. To go to this point, first of all, we have to protect the cue, to cut out a thin layer of varnish and wood to create the right thickness, as we have to put the leather or the linen at the same level of the varnish on the forearm or on the lower ring.
Okay.
Let's see how we are going to put the leather grip on this model. We can see that this Lunanera shaft is perfectly fitting.
So it's controlled, been tested, everything's put on, and now it's time to put it in a bag,
Yes.
and then it's ready for the final quality certificate, as we can see here. And is it then ready to be shipped out? So here he's putting on the weight,
All the specification of the cue, the model, the person that checked the cue,
serial number.
serial number, each cue